Hello, welcome to the stream. Hey Cryptic, what's up? I noticed that there was a new VS Code release a couple of days ago, but I didn't get around to reading the release notes. Oh, interesting. Layout. Okay. So let's get started. Anything else that's very interesting. Run code web and server from sources. Oh yeah, VS Code can be run as a PWA now. That's pretty cool. Is this zoomed in enough for you guys? So let's get started. So first of all, I have not gone through the Dino documentation for this, so I'm just gonna keep that open. Let's go API. We want unstable actually, because where's the serve HTTP? Create HTTP server? What is it called? Or is it stable already? Yeah. Oh, it's stable. That's pretty cool. What is the application you're going to be coding? I'm just making a very tiny URL shortener. I have I have a magnet shortener, but my friend asked me to make a URL shortener because she just uses mine. So I'm just gonna quickly speedrun through this if I can, and I'm getting used to Dino HTTP. That's the goal here. And pretty much, despite having created Hyperactive, I've not used it in any real application. So this is just gonna be learning that. And are there any Mongodb drivers? Okay. Not many. Not many ODMs. Nothing like Mongoose. It seems like. When was this last published? 2 weeks ago. Okay. I guess we can work with a raw Mongo client. Yeah, I don't. Mongoose is not available for Dino. I don't think. It's pretty ancient. We will probably write our own ODM for Mongo in the future, but for now, I think this is fine. L for the Dino community. I mean, the Dino community is still growing, but as you will see, it's pretty convenient. Alright, let's get started, and we'll worry about the DB when we get to the DB. Right, so yeah, okay. Oh, okay. So you want a TCP? Oh, okay. Let's Dino init. Enable Dino linting. No. Dino unstable APIs. No, not for now. Alright, so now this is a Dino workspace. Can't find ODM. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We don't need one right now. We want. Okay, that's what we want. But this will probably only give us HTTP. We want listen TLS for HTTPS. But actually, we don't really need to care about that. All right, we don't care about that. We just can't find ODM MCAP. Fine, I'll do it myself. Yeah, we do things ourselves down here. We have some of the the fundamentals to do runtime type checking. I wrote a thing called runtype a long time ago. Runtype is a beautiful library. It's like runtime TypeScript. It behaves exactly like TypeScript, but it's at runtime. The only thing that's missing from here is that it doesn't have any assertion messages. It just tells you whether or not it's it's passing. There's no assertion messages. So I meant to add them. Never got around to it as usual. So we have this proposal for assertion messages. We couldn't agree on one thing, so that we'll get to that. We'll get to that in the future. So for now, we don't need an ODM because we are going to store so little information. We can just manage it. We can YOLO it, right? All right. So handle HTTP asynchronously handles each request that comes in from Dino for connection of Dino.listen. Okay, so that creates a TCP connection. TCP server listens on port 80, and for each connection we do serve HTTP. Okay. So I believe this should also happen asynchronously. Let's see now. Wouldn't this? Okay. Let's see if this runs, right? We can't run it on port 80. Let's do 8000. Dino run mod.ts. We need allow net. Why is that taking so long? It shouldn't. Oh, it's actually started. I just don't have any logging. Okay, so let's do localhost 8000, and it says hello world. So let's see what we have in e.request and e.respond with. E.request. Okay. We have the URL method. We have methods for JSON. Request is going to be HTTP post or put. Post or get. Those are the things that it's gonna be. We're gonna FP this up. We're gonna do this fully functional, if possible. We're not this part, obviously. Okay. So let's see. we want a function that will split this. Let's see. We want a router, kind of. So E is the rec. I'll call it. Actually, I'll call it CTS. Dino dot request event. Oh, that's why it's called E. Okay, we'll keep it E to be consistent with the Dino community, right? So, actually, let's do function post. It should take E. It's better if I do it this way. And it should take next, which also takes Dino.request event. Might not make a lot of sense yet, but hold on, and it will. Okay, just zooming this a little bit. All right. This is actually not gonna get the event right away. It's gonna take a handler, which takes E. And actually the handler will take next. I'm so confused. Okay. It returns. I think I had this gist somewhere. Let me quickly look it up. Okay. So posting is gonna look like I forgot that we need to have a match thing. Let's keep it string for now, and then it takes a list of middleware kind of. I'm just gonna name that. I'll call it middleware, and we want this to, or we want to take next first, and this will compose better, right? Let me type this afterwards. It's gonna return void, right? So this is gonna be next is gonna take Dino.request event and return void, and CTS is quite literally Dino.request event, right? And we take that, and if we want to take the Dino.request event, if e.request.method is equal to, why don't we have autofill? I assume it's going to be all caps. Then we call that. Come back to what's compose in a second. It's nothing fancy. It's the same thing as the function compose, else return next. Oh, we don't have next here. This whole thing has to be I think this needs to return a middleware, which means next, and we call that with E, and we can remove this. Right, and then we just need an implementation of compose that doesn't suck. Let's try doing a normal compose. Fs, take Fs. How do we do F and G, and we take args, and we call f of g of args. There's a simpler way to do that. I guess that needs an initial. That would be the initial, right? So I can extract that as ID, and because we need to type that, that's ID, and then we have this function which we can call binary compose, which is just O. It's simpler if we have a single argument, so let's just have single argument. We just don't support variadic arguments. It's not required. We need middleware identity. Make 404 middleware. That would be the default, but we can do that in another level of this compose. So how do we type compose? That's the difficult part now. So we can do like ID middleware should probably just call next E. You mean this should be replaced? Yeah, we'll get to that. G extends. Then we do F and G. Parameters of G. And that will return the return type of F. Let's see if that works. Let's do sum. But that won't work. So let's do add one, because we only support one parameter. What? Oh. Now it doesn't understand that parameters is going to be a tuple type. How do we solve that? Let's see if this works anyway. It doesn't. The type is X takes number and returns number, Y takes number and returns number. And then we take Y, which is number, and return any. So there should really be return type of F. Unused. All of a sudden it just works. You need compose for middleware. I'm just gonna compose the middleware with a catch-all. .tst. Now we're not doing the easy way here. We're not doing it with JS. Okay. Now F needs to be a tuple type, which is a bit troublesome. Is this possible in TS yet, or do we just need to do the any number of, like, the overloaded version of compose? I should move this to utils. I think I would need to do the overloading. So compose takes at least two functions, right? And it would return over engineering at its finest. That's what we do on this channel. Actually, I mean to stream on my other new channel, which is MK Here Codes, but I don't have permission to stream on it yet. So the next time I stream will be on there. I'll just upload this video there. That's why this is unlisted. I'll make it public when I start streaming there. Why are you streaming on wrong channel? That's what I just explained. Yeah, so one thing we can do, and it's very type safe, is we just use O for compose, and that's gonna be really long. Let's just do this. Any fun? I guess here we want it not F and G but F1 after F2, because it's gonna get long. Can we do this? Can we do type of O and pass F1, F2? Why is this FG? Middleware array is possible. Middleware array. Oh, let's see. Without the type thing. Okay, let's do that. Let's do any func array. It's not gonna have a lot of type safety. What is MKR writing? MKR is writing his own thing, his own framework again. I didn't export it. Let's just do that. I'm just gonna see if I can yank a compose TypeScript from the internet. I'll just that here. Mini Express. More like functional Express. Interesting. Let's see if this works. Took the guy 15 hours apparently. Pick last in tuple. Oh, he's just type arity one function is not assignable to return type t of 0. There's one you find in readits repo when googling. Shouldn't it be as simple as we're not using T anywhere. What if we do that and that? becomes never. First function parameter type. Let's see. Pick class and tuple. Oh, okay. That I okay. We want that, and then you do that. These. That did not help. So I'm just gonna get rid of that and see what the problem is here. No, this almost works. I get what the point is here. Type unknown does not satisfy the constraint or any to any. Okay, parameters needs that. Pick last in tuple. Instead of it being any array, it should be arity one function array, I think. And this would potentially return never, right? That's probably why it's okay. Let's see. Compose redots GitHub. What is this? That's just the docs. Oh, there's compose. Yeah, this is the other variety, right? This is the overload variety, which I didn't want to write. Okay, whatever. It's compose, and it works until 4 functions. Okay, whatever. Let's just get on with our lives. Right, and none of these utils are actually used. Export default, I don't know. Export default is such a pain in the ass. It's always better to use named exports. And I don't want to spread. So let's put this in a tuple. It immediately failed. Okay, we just need we just needed that. you're wondering what I'm doing here, is just making this a tuple instead of like res params, and this will be that. All right, now that works. Okay. We also want to use this match. Does anybody in chat know what the new match thing is? A request match, MDN, what is it called? URL match, URL pattern API. That's the one. That's exactly what I needed. Perfect. Let's see what the types are like. It takes URL pattern input. Let's take URL pattern input then. Then we need to actually, just as an optimization, we want to wrap this, return this, even not even this. We want to wrap this whole thing and return that, and then we can do our URL pattern. Just call that pattern. Sometimes Dino LSP is pretty fragile. That just does not work. Okay. Now we do URL pattern dot interesting. We can just do test. Test we want test e.request.url. So this would be like compose. like that. Rematch. I didn't get what that was. Let me move the chat closer. Router would be just compose post. Let's do get first. Actually, we should do a generic thing. And then we do forget root. One next. No status code. Okay, yeah. Can we set status code in response? Am I supposed to send an object to this thing? Static error. That doesn't take anything. Read only property. Oh, init. Oh, got it. Got it. Yeah, done. we definitely didn't want that. We didn't want the array way. That's just cumbersome. Let's get rid of that. Or at least it doesn't really matter in compose, but it does everywhere else, and it would be better to keep it uniform. And now we get rid of these. And okay. Let's see if this thing will respond. We should probably... No, it doesn't respond. A relative input without a base URL is not valid. Let's see. What if we just do okay. What does it take? It just calls it string. Okay. The request just hangs. Did not hit 404. It did not hit the actual route that it was supposed to either. So it goes to handle HTTP. Let's add some logging, shall we? Don't need that one. New request event. Ocean return. Okay, we did get this, and we go to compose handler, and this handler is the router. Let's see if we actually reached here. Can return here. No, we didn't reach here. Get calls this with the pattern and the middlewares to call on get middleware. Okay, in fact we can preload this middleware. not have to do this again in runtime. Tiny optimization. Wait. Yeah. Oh. Oh, actually it should be the other way around. Because it's compose and not pipe. But it still should have worked. It should have at least given me 404. Oh, I get it. I think that's what was needed. I think that was. We need to call next. Let's see. No. Only once might be enough. Once might be enough. Yeah, that didn't work. Oh, this needs to be called with E. Let's see if that works. Oh. Why did that get hit? I think that's just my other machine. Okay, starting to get 404. Should we actually do need to call this in that order? Okay, now it's just hanging. Handler is router, and 404 is working. Both of these are of type middleware. So compose get. We don't even need compose here since it's just one thing. We'll need it later once we have post things, then we'll need it. Let's maybe implement post inc. What's a good status code for not implemented? Okay, that's okay. Let's just use 5.1 for now. You're starting to see what I was trying to get. It's a 418 teapot. You're talking about teapot. It's fine, whatever. I'm gonna replace it anyway shortly. So let's just see why it's failing right now. Should I move? No. Messages never go through. Maybe try not being a spammer. Are you from Iran, Thomas? I didn't mean that. Okay, compose, get. Wait. The compose middleware was never given the. I'm from Syria. That did not work. It was never given the event object, so it was never being called. That makes sense. But now we are calling it. I should. Yeah, that's a little bit of black magic. Okay. It kind of works. Kind of works. Right? It kind of works, guys. Oh, if we just set, it's not TSX. Come on. You retract your earlier statement. Yeah, that's what that's what I've done. That's what I've done. It's nets to yeah. So let's say we do that. We have compose. Let's move middleware. And let's even move 404. Let's make this async. Router would be middleware. And then we still have get here. Why is this? Okay, let's just move everything. For just for consistency. I like to keep the top level functions as normal functions and not we have router. right. To support Dino Doc, I guess you could say that. Tiny app in Dino is. Listen, this has no external dependencies except for my own code. I'll import Hyperactive, which is my own code. So this is a tiny app in Dino which does not depend on anything outside of Dino and my own code. This stuff could be a lot better, but for now this will work. And now we need to decide whether we want this nets to E type middleware, or do we want CTH kind of middleware? Tiny web framework, web library, I would say. Or delete is I'm just gonna make it del. Delete is a keyword. What else do we have? That will get. I mean, if I need more, I'll just add more. I only really use these for get, post, put, delete. Would be nice to do some wrapping around these things, because this is kind of unruly. New response and whatnot. Patch. I don't really use patch, but whatever. Put is there. Put is already there. Options, I have never manually handled options. So let's see. So we already have options up here. Put, patch, del. Okay. Now we want hyperactive. E only has request and respond with. Yeah. So how you're talking about making E a CTS kind of thing? Which I could do. I should make I just call this our router can do the compose middleware thing. Well, I don't want that. I don't want that at all. E dot status 501 do the stateful class thing. I don't want that. This is fine. What are accepted body in it? blob buffer source form data URL search params. Readable stream of event array, I guess that's binary string. So how do we send JSON? I guess we need to set the response type header. Test. Status should be the second parameter because it is optional by default. If you are responding, it's by default 200. Does 404 work? It works. 404 works in our tiny library. Okay. I think I'm good with this setup. Let's just get to like pages. It's gonna be fully server rendered. What? Okay. Starting from TCP. Implementing HTTP from source. This is basically the series should be called like Iron Man web development. Next time we just start from the syscalls. We implement TCP ourselves. Prefer doing ops. How do you do HTML? That's what I wanted. And we have this thing. I'll just need to append that part. Check Apple Pie for Zig. I'm not actually going to do I'm not gonna actually do HTTP in Zig. Alright. HTML, head, meta, title, body. Aha. My library is very strict. Actually, it should probably allow case insensitive stuff. We don't have m.trust here, so we'll just do name. And we want most of this to be the template. So let's do like body should be hyper node. Let's make things simpler for me. Same thing for body. Head is optional. If head exists, it's probably an array. Even same for body, I guess. Yeah, that looks a lot nicer. Now can get rid of this and do HTML. Oh, this one. Maybe I want this to be a this. That way can do that. And capital HTML. Now we have everything left for body. Okay, we don't even need body here. We can take some divs. And alright, let's see if this works. It doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? Oh, because we didn't call render HTML. Should I have had this boilerplate in Hyperactive? No. because all of this can be, you can change all of this. It just happens so that in this app we don't need to change it. Okay, now I would like to extend E with a key.render, which takes a hyperactive node. But for now, let's try doing hyperactive easy mode. Let's see. Why doesn't it work? That already gives. Oh. Okay. Render HTML should have been here. And not here. That already gives us a string. So why did it not respond? It didn't even make a connection. It is 10,000. What's wrong? We did call HTTP, did we not? Yeah, we did. And that gives us port. It's all a tree until the response. It's fine. I don't see any significant benefit that we'd have, because we're because anything you construct, you're gonna construct here. So I don't see any significant benefit from that. That's fine. Let's figure out why it's not responding though. Not found is working. And I just typed ads. Okay, now it's working. We didn't set the response type. Why didn't it work the first time? Huh? Style components, style sheet. Style sheet. Okay, we'll come back to that. I'll probably use emotion. We'll come back to that. Let's figure out why it only starts responding once it's seen that. Now it's working just fine. But the first request has to go to 404. Why is that? Oh. This should be the other way around, right? should go to handler first. I'm so no, because we have this next thing. This is fine. It gets inverted. Is it time to implement compose middleware? Handler H. Right. Handler. Okay. Handler next is this thing. Okay, that works. You mean router? I didn't get that. Yeah, this will work because now we are calling handler with this as the next, 404 as the next. So if handler calls next, then it'll go to 404, and we pass e to the whole thing. So now let's go ahead and implement compose for middleware, because that gives us some flexibility into what? I have no idea what that means. For not for needs to be not middleware. Yeah, but okay, fine. We'll do that. Now it doesn't work. Now it has the same behavior as before. What is that? Okay, it works. I don't know why, but it works. I'm gonna leave that at that. Something else worked, yeah. I mean, it might be working because of the 404 on the favicon. What if we actually handle that? Let's actually handle that. will just respond with some garbage so the browser can't do anything with it. Should I just do new array buffer? Debugger is... Okay, what did I mess up? Debugger is a nightmare to run through FP code. Okay. Seems to be working. Yeah. Can you not... E only has... Oh, I see. Response has to be a... Body init can take a readable stream. Okay, that's how you stream. Okay. Okay, let's actually implement this thing. Or should I just go inside compose and do the thing here? Because otherwise I'll have to replicate all of these types. Just gonna make this instead of function. Is this actually used anywhere? Okay. Promise of response, yeah. That's fine, but you don't need it right now. So how would our, let's see, how would our new middleware look? It would take CTX and return void, and CTS would be request respond and next that can just be that. And request would just be request. And we wanted this actually to be response in it. This could also be null apparently, or missing entirely. Is there any way we can improve this? I'm gonna git add everything just so that I can now fearlessly change this stuff. I'll take middleware array, things like JSON. Yeah, yeah, that definitely makes sense. We'll have that. Well, let's finish this thing. Let's do compose middleware. We want this to be aware of request event, I think. Make binary compose. Okay. Let's do F. The problem is typing, but let's type it together in the end. Let's not expose this one. So this will be F of G of CTX. So we want to accept CTX. Right, and G does not, okay, got it. So G does not actually call so the next in G is actually F. Yeah, alright, I'm not doing variadics right away. We do this. F should probably just take context. Yeah, this should be inverted. Is it like that? Should this be reduce? Reduce to take F and G, pass it in this order. So this should be fine, I think. Middleware ID. But does it really matter? Don't we just do T extends middleware? And it doesn't really matter, I think, because this is an internal detail. Just takes a middleware and returns it. Oh wait. Takes a middleware and calls that is confusing. Do we do like... Is that what we need? Tiny programming language. I did not understand this GCTH bit because there's no G in this thing. There's actually no CTH next, I think. Functional style passing CTH as in we pass CTH to next. We could have that. We could also not have that. I mean, if you remove that, then we have this. Okay, that's not an issue here right now. I'm just wondering how to... Right, we pass the 404. So we take the init middleware and just call that, and that would just be the 404. Yeah, this can't be this is variadic, so let's still respond with okay. We need a generic case for the router though, because router is also used here like this. What is yup? I don't get what you said yup to. I'm just yeah, when we pass CTH to this, to the root thing, then we just assign nets to be 404. Yeah, got it. Handler comes from here. and we want to change this stuff, middleware. We can actually move all of this to HTTP. And we don't have the old middleware anymore. And we can unwrap this. And now handler will get, yeah. Now we actually want router here, I think. Not router. We just call handler with next as 404. What's wrong now? Oh yeah, this needs to be constructed. This is the base case. What do we pass as CTH to it? I guess we just make it a respond. For now we just have respond with. Do we need to bind this? Oh, that's an object. So we don't need to bind this. Bicryptic. And then we have just a thing that doesn't do anything. Oh, no, we actually have H404, which is called with the same CTX. This will cause a cyclic thing, but we just hope that H404 has to always respond. So I think that works. What's broken now? Okay, method doesn't take next. And compose would become router, and ems would just be called with CTX, and next would be called with nothing. cannot find name next, it's because it's cth.next. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Actually make it an error to call next after respond. To call next after respond. Oh, by storing the state here and it's messy. We can do that. What does this return exactly? Promise, okay. This will not really we'll need this in here, so we'll need it as a property on context, like that. We can make this function. We'll just do cths. Sorry. And then I don't think we need special handling here. We can just do but I guess that's a decent limitation. There could be some extreme cases where you want to call next anyway to do some logging or something. So do we actually want this? I'm not sure. What do you think? Logger will wrap middleware. Yeah. Also, what about the functional style next? What about right now? Nets takes no parameters, so it's just sitting there. I don't want it like the express style thing where you call next with an error. That just sounds very yuck. I feel like you can just throw an error from inside your middleware and we should be able to handle it. We shouldn't depend on calling next with an error. So in that case, you can pass CTS to next. Get what I mean? And that way, if you want to call it purely, you can. So this would also take CTS. Oh, I can't. Just for some nicer error stacks, let's name these functions. Should be called next, I think. Well, actually, we could just do that. Same here. Actually, void shouldn't return anything. Oh. The thing just crashed. My Firefox just crashed. Oh. Restarting Firefox did nothing. It's not loading any pages. Okay, it's finally doing something. Why did it just choose to crash? Next should return the promise here. So let's make it promise of void. Return G of X. G returns void. What is G again? G is middleware. So middleware can also return or promise of void, and we want to promisify this. Yeah, I just wrote this void or promise of void. Oh, same for nets. That can. Then we don't need promise as well. Okay. Okay. So now well, I thought about this, but it might be bad experience, because then if you make this if you force this to be promise of void, then all your middleware needs to return promise. So even when you're synchronously handling it, you're forced to return promise or resolve whatever. Yeah, it would ideally, middleware would return respond or something, which actually returns a promise. Yeah, so this would actually return cts.respond. Which part of, okay, HTML is just missing. Yeah, we can work with this. It's not possible to synchronously respond. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so let's just implement this thing, HTML. This needs to be like that. Needs to be a regular function method. Body init return ctx.respond. Body would just be body, and init headers. This would need new headers, right? Headers in it. Yeah, that needs new headers. Init is optional. Hypernode tree, yeah, that I was thinking of that just now. Wait, what? What the fuck is... It can be headers, but it could also be a string array or an object. This is getting out of hand. It can be a plain no, but now we are forced to handle all the things that Deno handle, or we can just restrict it. Why is this not autofilling? What went wrong? Oh, because there's a syntax error. You can just take hypernode here. I'm just gonna enforce it to be an object. That's what we're gonna have. New response with init directly and set the thing after. Can you just pass? Where is that thing? Can you just pass these options to headers, or headers itself to headers, which gets kind of messy, so I don't want to do that. Like the headers in it has to be possible to headers. Oh, it does take headers in it. Okay. Never mind then. Never mind me. Headers.set content type, that's the one we need. Content type, just do that. And now we just do render HTML. This is just gonna be hyper server now. It's the server alternative to server component of Hyperactive. Then this is okay. This would we want to append this thing after render HTML, so that has to happen here, which means we just do HTML until then. Would use Hyperserve. That is warming to here. Yeah, once this works, or reasonably, let me extract this into its own repo. Would Hyperserver support this hyperactive nodes natively? Would it just be a dependency of Hyperserver? It's convenient for those of us who do want to use Hyperactive. This could even take CSS, of course. Okay, if you say so. If you say so, Thomas. It's so beautiful when I see Hypernode HTML, right? It just knows which node it's returning. Otherwise, it's just another web lib. I mean, it's not just another web lib, right? Because it's functional. That's something to say about it. It doesn't mutate a router instance. All right, let's get to the task we set out to do. That of course that doesn't run. I'm sure it's going to return the error, right? It's not. It just failed. Maximum call stack reached. I feel like it might be related to this CTH next. Why does it throw at URL pattern.test? Other parts of stack. It's just HTTP 69 over and over again. Oh wait, this is 57 and it's 95. CTS.NET CTS. Line 18. Oh. Oh, it's what is it called? Trampolining between 18 and 69. Could it be this thing? Missing E. I don't want to debug. It's just really annoying to I'll have to make all of these normal functions. Fuck it, we're just going normal functions from now on. It's way more convenient. If we are going to debug. It's a big problem with arrow functions is that they're impossible to debug. What's the problem here? Cannot find ret. I think it's stuck. Time to reload. Oh, that's a missing thing. Okay, got it. Wait, is there a Dino Debug thing? Or does the Dino language server give us that? Oh, it does have. It runs http.ts by default. We don't want that. Can I do Dino? Will that get picked up? Let's try F5. Oh, it'll just run whatever file I'm on. Got it. So now debug console, okay. HTTP. Now let's. I suspect all the places that we return. This needs to be changed. And now it's nicer to read, like if thing return. Increases the number of bytes, but let's go to HTTP. I'm gonna put one there. These are the spots I question. Okay. Now if I do this, G is the router here. Okay, URL pattern does not match this. False. Uh-huh. Is this how URL pattern works? Am I just oh, it does seem like this is how it works. Okay, that works. So what happened to cth dot request dot, well, it okay, we're a bit too far to get pattern, but it should be what is cth dot request dot URL actually? It might be the other one. It might be favicon. Now we're back here. It's just bouncing between these two now. How can I understand what's happening? CTS, let's see CTS. CTS dot request is, it's all getters. Okay. What is CTS dot next? Okay, what's G? It's just these two functions calling each other now. But how did we get here? Method middleware. That has taken one middleware. Wait a second. The first time we get here, G should be G should be 404. Oh, it would be this thing. I think we just need this to be replaced. With 404, where have we mounted for? Okay. So in the initial, okay. So this would actually call this. Would it not? cts.next. That was not too useful. I need some water. Where's my water gone? Alright, I'm back. What happens if okay, I do not understand actually. I'm actually stuck. Because this seems fine. Because if you call router with only one function, it's gonna default to calling next. Or even if all of your functions call next. Yeah, no issues. F for records. Last middleware to router must be 404. Oh wait. Okay. So what if we call router here and it's h 404? Second argument to reduce. No, but that would mean you cannot nest router. That should not be the case. I think what we need here is, if I put handler, wait, what? Okay. What was handler then? Was this router thing ever used? Handle HTTP router. Oh, that's unnecessary. I'll just call that handler. And this is unnecessary. And then we get rid of that. We do handler and H404. Yeah, CTS already does that. Let's try the same. Let's try doing that. Nope. So that doesn't seem right. I'm gonna stage these. Then I'll try removing this H404. What happens now? Oh. It does work now. Wait, but it's giving me a 404. So I'm fairly certain this is where to do the router H404, because this is the top level handler, the top level router that we get, this thing. This does not have a 404 in the end. So we add it here. Okay. I'm fairly certain the problem is somewhere here in the router function. Because when we replace that, something does happen. I have to dig up your old code. Oh, actually, Next is just middleware. That does not solve our problem, but it is cool. Tag you and sent. Let me see. I don't see the tag. Okay, my Telegram is being weird. Okay, http middleware.ts. Let's see. Okay, default handler is your 404. Okay, that's the first thing to your okay. Reduce right. Let's see. Let's see what happens. It says not found. Shouldn't say not found. Okay, let's understand compose. Or rather, I feel like, yeah. Let's see. So I feel like more complexity for Expressi or Kawaii. So I feel like implementing reduce directly will help. Let's try this. Let's try accumulator, which is a middleware, and that defaults to this thing, right? And then we have for const f of f's, we do We want CTS. We want a function that takes CTS. Right, and then we return accumulator. We want the next one too. This function that takes CTS. Yeah. So we want to take the. Oh, this is fine. We take one by one, and then we do. This part is wrong. Instead, we do. Accumulator would be the CTS to. Accumulator would be the accumulator would be the nets to. I got it. So we do like. It would be like that. Return. And now it makes some sense, but we were already doing that here. Iterating forwards, accumulators will point backwards. Okay. So now that we have this, let's try to do this again with reduce. But without using the O function, let's just, without the binary compose, let's just do it directly. First and second function. Right, and then we return. We need to call G. I think that's the issue. We need to call, but that's just reduce right. We tried that and it didn't work. You know why we need reduce right? Let's go back to this. Now we pass the first function and the second function, and this I don't think I did ABC. C now has B as next and B has A as next. But that doesn't. That's not what we want. We want it similar to pipe. We want the oh. Oh, got it. We actually return a function and we don't call f yet. So next is actually with reduce right, it's actually in the right order. But then why do we get 404? If I do this right now, it just gives me 404. It's running the last thing first. If I get rid of that, no, there's no response. Did not help. Okay, it's doing something. Try flipping F and G, then okay. Oh. Oh. Hello. That actually worked. So I think I just got tunnel vision. I was completely ignoring this line, so it seemed like it's doing the right thing. Okay, that works. Should I should I make all of these? So you actually made pipe. Yeah. Okay. Well, we got the hello world. Not exactly the app we were trying to build, but we got a hello world. I'll just make this. How long has this stream been on? It's been 2 hours and 50 minutes. And we got this part done. Should I go back to making these arrow functions? It would be a little bit denser and take fewer bytes. Let me do that. I just needed the body actually. On the other hand, now I can name these functions nicely. I'm gonna let it be. Actually, I'm just gonna take this. So tell me this. We'll end the stream after this, but tell me this. If we integrate Hyperactive inside of Hyperserve, what happens to the versioning of Hyperactive? Anytime Hyperactive gets a new version, do we release a new version of Hyperserve? That becomes a problem, right? Because Now render HTML is tied to whatever version of Hyperactive that Hyperserve is using, and Hypernode. Sure, why not? Okay, in that case, we should just re-export everything in Hyperactive from Hyperserver. I'm just gonna make a new repo for this and at least get that done today. Let's go into bleeding edge HTML features. It's not bleeding edge HTML features, but it might be bleeding edge Hyperactive features, you know. I might introduce full CSS support into Hyperactive, and at that point this is gonna need an update and so on. When there's no actual change in Hyperserve, it's going to need to update just because Hyperactive has updated. I'm gonna call it Hyperserve. Is there an npm package? There probably is. I don't care about Hyperactive. Oh, Hyperserve is available. It's just very practical to use. No, but what do you think about this conundrum? There's a change in Hyperactive. There's no change in Hyperserve, but I still need to version Hyperserve with the latest version of Hyperactive. Deno has import maps. We can patch if needed. Is that? How does that work though? Just map your Hyperactive import URL to a different version. I have no idea how that works. But for now, I guess this is fine. For now, this is fine. I'm just gonna do that. No code actions available. Oh. Dino initialize workspace configuration. No. Okay. And I grab this, drop that there, close this out for now. Oh, I didn't know you can map exact URLs. I thought you... I thought it was, like nice names. I didn't know you could do URLs. Okay, so I guess I should accept all the port. Where do I pass port? I guess I should add all the listen options. And I just pass opts. It's just port and hostname. Yeah, that's just it. Okay. Anything else I need to quickly clean up before? Okay, I should make this a nicer thing. Um, cannot. Great for monkey patching dependencies of dependencies. I guess that's true. One more thing. Request.url is relative. It is not though. It's not relative. Let me add that here. See, it's not relative. It's giving me the full URL. Yeah. In fact, the thing you wrote, HTTP middleware, Dino reconstructs it. I don't know, man. In the thing you wrote, you've done the same, I think. Yeah. See, you've done the same thing. New URL request.url path name. Yeah. One more thing. How do we have this log something just after starting to listen? Like listening on port something. Because this will not resolve until all the, maybe we can just, that's not right. Or because the request doesn't actually contain. Yeah, I think this is part of like Dino being obsessed with simplicity or whatever. I'll let this be. Call, listen, store result. Yeah, I guess it's the call site's responsibility. They'll just call HTTP and handle it however they want. Okay. Yeah, I get what you mean. But then the behavior of this is kind of nice, where it resolves when it never actually resolves, right? It just keeps going. Oh, server was, yeah, that makes sense. In that case, we'll need to return server. Isn't listen in Node? Listen is async, so we do listen and then dot then on that, or we do a wait and then we do our log. But in Dino, listen is actually synchronous. It returns a listener. It's actually sync, as in the syscall is actually sync. Not just in Dino, but the actual syscall. It's kind of wacky. Okay, so in that case, we do want to return the server instance. If it can't listen, it'll throw. Okay. So then we want this to be that to run like that. And then we return server. But now nothing is actually async here. Run close. Run is basic. Oh, interesting. What do we have in server? We just have this. Okay, makes sense. So maybe we can have start and close. Close is just server.close, and this is start, and I don't call it myself. Does that work? Or we'll call it listen. Oh no. Then we'll have no, that can't be listen, because they're already listening. I think we've done enough for one day. Just gonna git add, git init, git commit. Getting YT limited. Is there... Maybe I can just make you a mod. You know? Maybe I could just... Channel URL. Can you post your channel URL? I think it's just this, right? user/Trigvi. Nope, that's not the right person. It probably needs that random thing. What if I do this? Yeah. Copy link. There we go. There we go. All right. Now it should be a mod. I hope. It doesn't show anything differently. Can't post URL. And you are a mod now. And there's no block links. URL sent in live chat are already blocked. So you just can't send. Now you have wrench. Alright, that's it for tonight. We'll continue this maybe tomorrow or something. Alright. Good night.